This research, analyzing TripAdvisor reviews of tourist attractions in Phuket, was published in Tourism Management, which is the #1 journal in tourism around the world. My name is Associate Professor Dr. Viriya Taecharungroj of the Business Administration of Mahidol University International College. And the reason me and my colleague started this research was back in 2019. And we looked at the incident in Thailand. And it turns out that the number of international tourists at that time dropped dramatically, especially in Phuket. And we wondered why. And it turned out that back in 2018, there was a tragic incident involving the capsized boat that killed more than 50 Chinese tourists in Phuket. And that's the reason why it led to a big drop in the number of tourists and also bad press in China and worldwide. So we set out to find a ways to improve the tourist experience going to Phuket in order to revitalize the tourist attractions in that province again. Of course, after COVID-19, customer and traveler experience has become even more important. So we believe that the research we did back then is still very much relevant right now. So we want to find out how we can improve the traveler experience. And it turned out that for tourist attractions, unlike other products and services, like for example, restaurants, hotels, or the products that we use, they don't have clear attributes or experiential dimensions. Therefore, the managers of those tourist attractions find it hard to improve and market them effectively. So we want to use the latest technique in order to identify what are the attributes or experiential dimensions of these places and what are the factors that drive the positive and negative experiences. And that's what we did. We receive and we collect the data from TripAdvisor, which is the most famous online reviews repository for tourism. And we collect more than 60,000 online reviews in total of many tourist attractions in Phuket, including beaches, island locations, markets, temples, and a walking street. And we use the machine learning technique called latent dirichlet allocation, which is the topic modeling algorithm, to try to find the topics of or experiential dimensions according to the online reviews reported by tourists, international tourists going to Phuket. And that's what we did. And after we did that, I also introduced the analysis called salience valence analysis to look at text and try to find out what texts occur often and which one led to the positive experiences. And after we did this research, we found interesting things. Let me give you an example of the islands in Phuket. Of course, in Phuket, not the main islands, there are many islands surrounding the main island of Phuket. And we collect the data from all the locations of those islands and try to identify what are the experiential dimensions of these islands. And we identify 4 of them, including 1, the beaches on those islands, 2, the boat trip that you take to and from that island. The third one is snorkeling, which is a really famous activity that international tourists do when they are on those islands. And the last one, viewpoint, or when you walk, hiking or climbing the hills on those islands. And it turned out that this is really interesting because if you think about if we want to promote islands to the international tourists, we often think about the experiential activities like snorkeling to try to persuade tourists to come to Phuket. It turned out that snorkeling is a highly negative experience for international tourists, and we want to find out why. And we did the salience valence analysis of the text, and we found clearly that there are words that led to negative experience, such as coral, fish, tourists, and we investigate further, and it was clear that tourists didn't enjoy it. They found that corals are dead, fish were gone, and there are too many tourists there that they didn't really enjoy the snorkeling experience at all. On the other hand, we found that the experiential dimension called viewpoint, that tourists can walk, climb the hills, and view the sunset on the islands are highly positive, which were often neglected by tourist agencies. So from this research, we can come up with ways, the practical recommendations that the Tourism Authority of Thailand and other related agencies can improve and also promote the tourist attractions effectively to the international tourists. And from that research, which was well received by the readers of the journal, we took this technique and applied to many other contexts, including markets, shopping malls, football stadia, beaches, and also urban rail transit networks, which is a really convenient way for us to analyze many other places that we want to understand the experiences. So if you want to read this research, it's published in Tourism Management, which is published by Elsevier.